Welcome to another edition of Tom's Real Food Podcast. This week's podcast is brought to you by Pork Chops. Wednesday's video will show you how to cook pork chops and make a natural gravy using butter as a thickener. Hey, let's get back to the podcast. Hey everybody, welcome back. I'm Tom Glover, the Keto Cook, and today on Tom's Real Food Podcast, number 8. Wow, 2 months, 8 weeks. What I want to do today is I'm going to continue what we talked about last week, and I said we'll get into fiber and stuff on this podcast, plus some other issues that you should be looking out for. And then we're going to get into start cooking some foods, or I'm going to start putting up some stuff that you can do. And this is what my channel is all about. But I got to make one statement here, and I got to just clear my own mind with it. This is like 4 times now I try to make this one podcast, and I get very mad about it, and I can't push that on to somebody else. But there is you got to be careful on YouTube watching some of these doctors. Okay, now the ones that I truly watch, they're all about getting you help. Is what I'm trying to say. But then there's other ones out there who are selling stuff. All right. And they'll do a couple shorts about this one in particular is about oils, what oils to cook with. Now, when I hear this kind of stuff, it gets me to the point where, man, they're selling something. Okay. And the nonsense that they're pushing, okay, is about oils, different oils to cook. Now, this particular doctor all of a sudden now has a line of his own tallow that he uses, that he cooks, and he's probably going to be selling it. But his approach really pissed me off. Now, I'm on a budget, okay, and I got to be careful what I do. Now, I've been in the restaurant business a long time, been cooking all my life. And yeah, you can use tallow. Tallow's great, all right? To buy it, it's expensive. Also, ghee. He's talking about using ghee. That's also expensive, but you can make that at home. All right. There's not a problem with that. Now, as far as salted butter, unsalted butter, really that doesn't matter. But here's what really pissed me off with this guy was about olive oil. Well, don't worry about the smoke point. It is the point as soon as you heat it up, it starts to go bad and starts to go rancid on you. Well, I hate to call you out, doctor, but that's bullshit. Okay, they've been using olive oil to cook with in restaurants, especially Italian restaurants, okay, for many, many, many years. Now, this is a known fact also, some olive oils have been tainted. A couple nefarious people been blending it with say like canola oil or something like that, just a little bit to stretch it so they can make some money on it. And that's even from Italy. But the whole premise of, even if it is just lightly blend it a little bit, it's still better than the seed oils. Now, this is where I agree with him. All right, seed oils, cotton seed oil, grape seed oil, canola, vegetable. It's all man-made. It's a heat process that can actually over time actually hurt you. Now, the scare tactics. Don't use this because it has stuff in it that can hurt you. Yeah. So does tallow and stuff like that if it's not done right, okay? So whatever he's selling, whatever blend he's using, they would have to prove to me that there's no other agents in it, okay? That it's just trimmed meat. Now, he's a big mouth about grass-fed butter, raw butter and stuff. This is all expensive stuff, okay? So now if you're looking, here's what pisses me off. If you're looking to do this journey, okay, to lose weight and get your health back, all right? You got to start at a starting point, and especially if you're on a budget, okay? So what's the best thing to use? Avocado oil, yep. He rags about that also. Olive oil, he ragged about that. And the seed oils I agree with. But then he put in coconut oil. And this is, and ghee. That's all expensive. It's expensive items for somebody who is on a budget, all right? Grass-fed butters, $9 a pound, okay? That's crazy. All right, so you get about half a pound for $5, almost $6, like Kerrygold, but they all have issues with it. So my point is this: if you're going to make tallow yourself, all right, you need all the trimmings. And I have people that I'm subscribed to and that I talk to that make their own tallow, and that's fine. That's great, and you can use that. But for somebody who's on a budget, now I've been in the restaurant business and sauteing uh, with olive oil and butter. That's my blend. Okay. Or if I don't want the heavy taste of olive oil, I'll use avocado oil. But now this guy just throws everything off the rails because that's no good. I got the science behind it and this and that. He's got nothing. Okay. He said he'd rather cook with butter. And then he does this little test with the pan. Only use stainless steel pans. Well, people can't afford this stuff. And this is what drives me nuts about these bigger platforms. Okay. I have a lot of subscribers. And somebody like me who's starting out trying to get their health back, but I know better. All right. But the person who doesn't always cook at home or whatever, who's trying this stuff out, it's going to cost you a ton of money to get what this guy wants you to do or to push aside. So no, use your olive oil, use your avocado oil, blend it with butter. When you're cooking, saute it with that. I mean, his nonsense that he spews. I would make sauces out of the olive oil and also with the butter in it. I mean, he don't know what he's talking about when it comes to this. Anyway, all right, that's enough of that. All right, getting back into now fiber. Now, there again, we're getting back into these YouTube doctors, TV doctors. Now, I counted 18 different channels that I've seen that say you don't need to have fiber in your system. And me, I don't have a horse in this race because I do keto. I do ketovore. I do just sometimes just strict keto. Sometimes I just eat vegetables. That's what works for me. That's what I'm trying to get at here. Is you can get carried away with some of these other TV or doctors that say, "Oh no, you got to have this, can't have that." And then they come out and pull up some bullshit science. Well, here it is, the paper right here. Well, who did that paper? And any kind of study should be a lifelong study on something if you're going to make them kind of remarks. So I found one, maybe two doctors that say you do need fiber. And one was just totally against keto, low carb, the whole bit. So you got to take it for what it's worth. Me personally, back in I guess maybe 2 years ago, my blood sugar wasn't dropping anymore. And I was eating more vegetables. Let's put it that way. And to be honest with you, I think the one doctor that I did have, I think he was lean more towards vegetarians, which most of them do until they see the light. But he said, try a little bit more vegetables in and stuff like that. Because I told him, I said, I do keto, flat out meat and vegetables. Sometimes less of the vegetables because of the carb count. I told him I was 20 carbs or less, and he shake his head, the whole bit. But then they put me on this one drug. Now this Ozempic is out. Boy, be careful with this stuff. It's safe, the whole bit. Just like they said with the antacid, okay, that we're taking now. You don't hear about it no more. I think it's Zantac or whatever it was. Now stomach cancer, causing stomach cancer. But that was the big craze. Take this one. It'll help you with the heartburn and stuff. So you got to really be careful and really weigh what's going on with this. So I had this similar drug that they put me on. It was a shot, once a week shot, similar to Ozempic. And I don't want to say the name because I don't want nobody coming down on me on it. And then I increased my vegetables. Okay. Oh, it'll work. The fiber will work and help you with your type 2. And I told him, I said, didn't in the past. I mean, I followed, a couple, even the ADA, the American Diabetes Association, they put out, menus, what to eat and try and stuff like that. It didn't work because my blood sugar got higher and that meant more medication. So we tried this shot. And like I said, it bound me up for a week. So fiber, you got to be careful with it. All right. It's more or less to each his own. If you're doing carnivore and higher fat, lower carb, all right. In my eyes, you don't need fiber because I had never had a problem with it other than mixing medications with it and adding a lot of fiber to it. And then on top of it, now, with Metamucil coming, I heard a commercial the other day on the radio and it cracked me up because they talk about, oh, you need Metamucil, for your health and blah, blah, blah. And then at the end, they have that little trailer where you can't understand them. The guy's talking 500 miles an hour. All right. But you catch a few buzzwords, not responsible for anything, check with your doctor, the whole bit. So eating a standard American diet, okay, which is high in carbs, a lot of fiber. All right. Why is it that people are still have to go back? If fiber is so great and works with diabetes that great, why do people have to go back and get more medications? Okay. I'm telling you right now, from my experience, there again, I'm not a doctor, not a scientist. I am a chef and I cook. That's what I do. But why is it you turn around and you're adding something to your system, right? You do it one shot, one week. Okay. Every week you do this one shot and it slows down your processing of what you eat. You're not hungry. Okay. You feel full. So therefore their theory is that you don't eat. Okay. But we are, like I said last week, we are sugar addicted. We are addicted to sugar so bad. I've never seen it anywhere else in this country alone. Okay. I think stop and think about how many alcoholics there are and how many drug addicts there are. And they make sure they put that high priority. But what about sugar addictions? We have little children that are addicted to sugar. Okay. In their diet throughout their day is loaded nothing but sugar. All right. And the parents, well, I got to go to the gym and work out. Here, have some fruity fruits, whatever the hell you call it. All you're doing is you're getting your own child, you're getting him or her addicted to eating junk food from the beginning. Remember, the learning curve, okay, from like 3 years old and up, this is when they absorb a lot of stuff that's being their surroundings of what they're taught. So if you're taught to have nothing but sugar and let it be available for them, milk. So when a child is nursing or drinking milk, all right, the fat in the milk is helping their brain develop. That should be number one discovery right there. That the more fat that you put into this child, the better off he's going to do as far as brain development and stuff like that. So there again, I'm getting in over my skis here because I am not a doctor, but I have my own opinions. That's for sure. Carb wise, okay, we're overloading carbs. Carbs turn into sugar. All right. Next thing you know, sugar, it doesn't absorb into your cells. Next thing you know, fat. You get belly fat. Okay. I had belly fat. No, I'm telling you, I had belly fat. When I would turn a corner, my stomach would go around first before my feet. That's how big I was until I seen the light. All right. As far as now, this is not a testimony or anything like that. I tried every which way they could tell me. Every time I went to a doctor, a different doctor, whatever, you have to fill out all the paper and then you go through a battery of tests, the whole bit. And one guy says to me, it really pissed me off. Well, you're obese. And I said, well, you're ugly, but I can diet. So I've been battling with this for a long time now. But the thing with fiber is that's a tricky call, depending on how you feel. If you feel like you need to add a little bit to it, go for it. Carnivore is not for everybody. Keto is not for everybody. But if you just start paying attention what you put up into your mouth here, as far as foods are concerned, you can start weaning yourself and getting yourself adapted. You want to get more fat adapted than anything else. Because once you get into ketosis, I'm telling you, it's like an eye opening, like, you get the cold breeze blowing on you. A game changer. I felt great. I mean, I'm telling you, I couldn't believe it. Clarity. All right. And once you start getting sugar bound again, back to the addiction. All right. Now you start feeling fatigued. You start getting muscle aches, joint pain. Okay. Especially for older people. You're getting older. Joint pain's ridiculous. I mean, sometimes when I was chewing on, I'm a keto guy. I know how to get around this and do this. Bullcrap. Once I started eating like regular taco shells because they were net zero, all right, net zero carbs, you can have this. No, you can't. No, you can't. I felt like crap. Okay, I needed 2 canes to get around. Once you start losing the weight, and there again, don't think about the weight. If you're in this to lose just weight and stuff like that, try something different because this here is a long haul. Because once you get fat adapted and then you quit and go back, you're going to double, sometimes triple what you lost. All right. So the glucose, the sugar wins. All right. High carbs, they win. Fighting this right now, it's like I said before. I've been 16 years. I haven't smoked, and I still look for my cigarettes. And so it's the mindset where you're at. As far as let's see, keto fog and stuff like that. You just got to go with it because you're on the right track. Basically, what you are, and this is what makes me mad about these enablers that are just to better themselves and will tell you stuff that you can't afford. Okay, so and if you're listening to it because he's got that doctor label, and it's telling you, hey, we'll try this product. It's proven. I proved that it's goodness and that. That's all bullshit. That's just to better himself. Don't give a rat's ass about you. And that's basically where I'm at with all this stuff here. Now, there are people out there who are legitimately doing studies and stuff. I'm not going to mention any names with that, but I tell you what, it is promising, very promising. They also have one coming out with the competing with the ADA, right? And I can't wait to see what that is with the truth. Okay, as far as, and don't forget now that dieting has been around for years and years and years and years. All right, and the bottom line is to benefit Weight Watchers. It was a multi-billion-dollar business. Okay, and maybe out of that, I don't know what the stats are. This is just me talking. Not a lot of people stuck with it. I know quite a few people who were doing Weight Watchers, spent all the money, the dues, and everything like that. Boy, what a great deal it was for the CEOs and people who worked at Weight Watchers. They pulled in a ton of money. But now all of a sudden you don't hear too much about it because you know what? It didn't work. Just didn't work. The enablers with keto, low carb, and carnivore. Carnivore is getting hammered right now. I mean, granted, I understand that there's not that many studies about the carnivore diet or even about keto. All right. So most of this stuff, a true study on anything is many years. Okay, you just can't. In 2 weeks, we had put people on a carnivore diet, and this is what happened. Well, you got to. What's the long term? All right. Right now, the big thing is with keto and carnivore is that it raises your LDL. Okay, raise your cholesterol and your LDL. Well, and that's signs of heart failure and stuff. No, you don't know that. All right, because what the study shows is that they keep moving the goalposts. These metrics that they want to follow, all right, are based on the standard American diet, on a high carbohydrate food. They haven't come up yet with somebody who is on low carb, okay, or zero carb, zero sugar, high fat. They have not come up with that process yet. And that's what these other guys are doing with this other study to do that. Because now when I go get my blood work, my cholesterol is up high. My cholesterol was 220. Okay. 4 years ago, I got it down to 120. Okay. But at the same time, all right, I was having muscle aches, the whole bit. I was on a statin, and I got away from what I said. There again, not a doctor, not telling you what to do. This is just from me alone. But with this new group that's coming up with this study here, and they're asking people to go get blood work done and submit it to them, which I think is a great idea because now with all your markers that you use, triglycerides, okay, your LDL, your HDL, and basically what you eat, what you're consuming, so they can actually get this on the mark because. My doctor shake her head. Well, your cholesterol is high. Well, the baseline is 200. The beginning was 300. Then they took it down to 250. And then they wanted to make it 220. Then I heard they wanted to do it 150, but then they never did it. All right. So my research and going back in time and stuff like that, the range you want to be is like from 180 to 280. That's what I remember hearing. And to this day, there are a couple PhDs and a couple cardiologists said that's a pretty good area to be 240 is like the optimal place you want to be with. But me saying this, okay, I can get in trouble because you know what? The FDA and the Heart Association, American Heart Association, ADA, and everything, you know, they'll come down on you because you know what? You're spewing false information. No, I'm not. Okay, I'm talking about my own personal how I feel about it. So, yeah, you got to really, really do your research on it, and so me getting my blood work done and them analyzing it, okay, it's like a gasoline car going into the shop and being treated like a diesel, okay, a diesel engine. Same principles, okay, different fuels, totally different fuels. So one does not work with the other, and then you get scolded because your LDL's up too high, your cholesterol's up too high, and there again, I urge you to go check Google who died from high cholesterol, not heart disease, high cholesterol. I don't think there's anybody out there who actually died from too much cholesterol that your body produces. So, you know, that's my take on that. All right, we're going to take a little break. Second half of this podcast is brought to you by olive oil, avocado oil, and butter. Great blends for sauteing. Let's get back to the podcast. I just want to put a little bit of, once I start smelling everything, then I'm going to take it off because that's where you want this to be. You don't want to overcook. You want the flavor is what you want. So by using olive oil and butter, they complement one another, okay? If you use just straight butter, it's going to burn. All right, now you get that foul taste. So, all right, getting into the pork and stuff that you've seen there. The pork chops were great, and there again, you got to look for deals. This is something else I researched. Okay, so going into a carnivore diet or some of these highfalutin doctors, beef is all you need. Okay, got to watch chicken and pork. Well, let me ask you a question. First of all, I've tried grass-fed beef from way back. All right. When I lived in North Carolina, we used to get beef from our farmers. Now, I said this before in another podcast, but I got to bring it back up again. It has a totally different taste, okay? And I want to know from a grass-fed perspective, okay? Is that grass being treated? See, here's where you start nitpicking, okay? We start picking at different little areas of it. Is that grass-fed? Okay, you have to keep moving cattle because once they can devastate a parcel of land that is loaded with grass, weeds, whatever green they have growing. Okay, they can devastate that land and they have to move them on to another one. And then when that grows back, keep coming back and forth. But what pesticides are in the air? What, if the farmer's on a busy road, what about the diesel trucks that keep going by and cars with the emissions dropping down onto the grass there? Is that affected? Is grass fed that better for you? Is there, if there any manipulation in the earth that they're putting down for planting these seeds? Are they 100% pure and stuff? So I can nitpick that over corn fed that our bodies are more used to, and even at this time, even corn fed beef is getting very, 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 very pricey for people like me and you who are looking for a way to stay on this lifestyle, okay, without breaking the bank. That's why I'm doing these series about, I took that one piece of chuck and I broke it all up, made different stuff. I added some pork to it, made meatballs. The traditional way we would make meatballs would be beef, pork, and veal. Veal is actually, a young cow, a calf, or you could use lamb. Okay, so between lamb and veal, price that it's out of sight. You can't get it no more. So a good blend for a nice taste would be nice beef, fatty beef, and some fattier pork. Blend that together, and you've seen the last time with the meatballs. So now I got a good deal on 2 pork Boston butts bone in, which I prefer, and the pork chops were great prices. Now, reason why they were on sale is because they couldn't sell them for the price that they were. Well, shouldn't eat pork because of what they're fed. Getting back to the grass-fed beef, come on, you got to show that to me. You got to come up with a little bit more. I'm not, I was born during the day, but not yesterday. You know what I mean? Um, chickens, free range chickens. Okay. Well, we had chickens. We had people down the street from us had chickens. At the time I was juicing and we had the farm and we were growing all our own vegetables. And there again, we thought we were organic until one morning. I was going to go have the health department come down and try to get certified as a organic uh, garden farm to sell, in front of my house in North Carolina. Well, one Saturday morning, I hear sound like dive bombers coming into my house. The property across the street, okay, which was growing soybeans, a crop duster come flying through and was putting insecticides down. Windy day, guess what? I'm not organic anymore. All right, no way, no how. Any of the runoff that would come over to my way with the rain and stuff. So I was shot. I was no good with being an organic farm. We grew, me and Marie, we grew everything. Okay, Marie was in charge of that process because I tell you what, she knows her stuff about it. Getting into like there again with grass fed, I was surrounded by cows. Okay, now these cows were being raised from young to a certain weight point, and then they would go to auction, and then from auction out to a feedlot. Build them up, and then they would go out to the processors. There again, only 4 processors that is dealt with. They control the prices of what even feedlots can do, and the where we lived and the people who were raising the cows in that area, his baseline was just minimal. I want to know when somebody's talking about they're going to make their own tallow and they don't use this and don't do that. There's always nefarious things that are going on, right? But you got to take the bull by the horn. What's going to help for you? What's the best thing that's going to help you? Now, when we talked about seed oils, in the restaurant business, I had a couple fryers. One fryer was for fish, okay, seafood. And the other one was just strictly for French fries and or potatoes, because we used to do a lot of potato skins and stuff like that. So you didn't mix it. I changed the oil out every couple of days because when you put the oil in to start with, you can see the bottom of the fryer. By the second day, you can't see it no more. So that's time to change it, because then you get that oily. You boiled. It's actually boiling. All right, it to it breaks down. So when this doctor says when just putting olive oil into the pan, just heating it, okay, starts its change, its change on it. Well, like I said, that to me, that's false, because you know what? When you make garlic confit, all right, in olive oil, it's the best tasting thing you have ever had. I don't cook with virgin olive oil. That I would use for salads and stuff like that to make a dressing. That I agree. I wouldn't heat that because it can give you a funny taste. Now, talking about smoke points, all right. Well, on his one video, he put in, heated the pan up, and he calls it the mercury effect. You drop water into this hot pan, and it bubbles up like mercury would do. It's too hot, all right. And then to add your butter in, he dropped butter in to fry an egg, and the edge of the eggs were burnt. Okay, too hot. All right. So the whole idea of a smoke point is what you want to cook from 300 degrees up to 350. Okay. Basically, the smoke point on olive oil is between 370, 375, excuse me, to 400. So when you watch my video, I put the pan on, turn the heat on. So from the time I go from the stove, which is probably 2 feet, over to get my olive oil bottle and to put olive oil in there, it's a matter of a couple minutes, if that. All right. I put that in there, and you can see it start to separate a little bit, no smoke. And then I put the butter in. The butter will sizzle up. You'll actually see the water coming out. When butter bubbles, that's actually water coming out of it. Then I put my meat into that. I lower it down, and that's how I saute. You don't bring it to the smoke point, because then it's ruined. All right. You ruin the butter, and you also ruin the olive oil. Talking a lot here, but this is what it's about, podcast. So there again, no seed oils, but the point is, if you cannot afford some stuff, if you don't fry every day, okay, you can use a blend like a canola oil. And if this is against my principles now, but I'm just saying, if you're broke, but you're trying to get yourself back, back in health again, you can use it. But I suggest olive oil and avocado oil, and I use butter between the two of them, not just one butter. You can make ghee, but the way butter is right now, I buy 3 pounds for $12, almost $13. All right. So for me to take that and make ghee, as much as I use that for that sauteing, I got the olive oil. I get a better price with the olive oil and also with the avocado. So vegetables. Let's go over vegetables real quick. I'm getting back into. I think I'm 11 weeks into it now. I started adding back my go-to broccoli. Now, I don't use a lot. Maybe 3 heads. 3 florets that I'll use, but I cut them in half so it looks like a lot. And then whatever protein I'm having, steak or the pork and stuff. Excuse me. Now, lettuce, romaine lettuce I use. Iceberg lettuce is worthless. We'll use that, and then we'll make a nice salad dressing. All right. I've been using red wine vinegar, olive oil. This is where I would use the virgin olive oil for that mixture. Then I'll make my own homemade mayonnaise. Okay. I will take 1 egg, a cup of avocado oil, because it doesn't have that olive oil taste to it. Sometimes olive oil might have that hurt you in the back of the neck type of thing. That's another way you can tell a good olive oil. Also, like a tablespoon of apple cider vinegar and salt to taste. I usually use a quarter of a teaspoon. Put that in, hand blender, mayonnaise. I mean, you can't go wrong for that. No additives, no preservatives, no toxic stuff, shelf stabilizers. I get my tooth right. And that's what I would make a nice salad with that, and a little bit of cucumber. You don't have to eat meat all the time, all right? But if you are doing carnivore and you're trying just to get a little break, and this is what I'm talking about with fiber now. So some of the stuff that I add in there might have a little bit of fiber, and you'll know, because if you're starting out doing carnivore, your stomach's going to let you know exactly what's in there until you get completely. May take like 6 weeks to if you're hard-nosed carnivore right now, and with the bathroom. But it does come around back to where I'm feeling good. I really am. I mean, it's just amazing. But I just can't eat meat all the time because my wife, she doesn't, and so we'll have a little vegetables here and there. Asparagus, I like leafy greens. Spinach, I like spinach, olive oil, garlic, and olive oil. Saute with a little butter. You can't go wrong. So once I start getting in there, my blood sugar, like I said earlier on, when I first started back to just strict carnivore, I was 258. My blood levels were 258, 260, 265, too close to 300. Now, I'm 11 weeks into it, and because of my age, okay, I'm slower metabolism, and I think I really did some damage to myself this last time. I went a little overboard with the bread and stuff like that. So because of my age, I think that's slowing things down a little bit. But I'm fine with it. I feel good, and I'm not giving up. Also, one other thing I'm gonna bring out to you. If you're looking for snacks, now cheese you got to be careful with. If you have shredded cheese that you buy in a bag, which we do, all right, that is coated with potato starch. Now, if you noticed, all right, it doesn't clump in the bag. Now, I always say do your own if you have a processor, it has that grating tool on it. You can take a block of cheddar cheese and run it through. If you put it in the bag to save it, it's going to clump, okay? Because it doesn't have that potato starch in it. So what I suggest is, if you buy shredded cheese that's in the bag, when you're getting ready to use it, take a little strainer, drop your handful in there, run it through water, especially if you're going to melt it. Okay, you can do it that way. If I eat some cheese, because we make cheese crackers and stuff like that, and if it's not rinsed off, I notice it the next day because my blood sugar, my dawn effect is a lot higher than normal. So I got my blood down. Okay, usually, 11 weeks ago, I do in the morning be really close to 300. All right. Now, once I started back on, carnivore, and now I'm starting to add stuff back again. This morning was 211. I'm real happy with that because that's a long way to 300. So, and then throughout the day, I'll be between 167 and 180 in that realm. As far as eating stuff, I'll have, like I said, a couple scrambled eggs with coffee, not until 12, 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Then usually I start cooking between 2 and 3. As soon as we get done cooking, a lot of times I'll film it. A lot of times I'll get done with that, and then I don't have nothing till later on in the evening. So I'm going to start doing a little bit more. I don't want to get I don't want to get into this pissing contest with other people that are on YouTube and stuff. But when wrong is wrong, and I know better, that really makes me mad because there are people out there who are really, honestly, trying to get their health back without breaking the bank, and they just give up, because it's a mental game. Well, this doctor, he's a doctor. He knows better than you, Tom, because he's a doctor. Well, you know what? Like I said, I've been cooking longer than he's been alive. So, yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, sometimes, and I'm not selling anything, and that's a fact. He should say in the beginning, "I'm selling this, so watch this." Kind of stuff, not to the end. That just burns me the wrong way. So, all right, everybody, listen, I appreciate it. Hit that like and subscribe button, and make sure you check out some other podcasts. Look at that. Check out my other podcasts. Hit that like, subscribe, and check out this week's video coming up. And listen, I'm Tom Glover, the Keto Cook. I will talk to you later.